Welcome to Base Vision Inside Security episode 13. Today we are talking about Windows. With me is Yannick and Lukas, both senior endpoint engineers here at Base Vision. We are talking about what has changed in Windows 25 H2 and what we have learned in our project. So probably the first question is, what has changed? Was it just a change, we have to update, or are there as well benefits?
Yeah, thanks. So it's not just efforts that you have to update the OS. Of course, you should do it for several reasons. But Microsoft has also introduced a lot of nice features, especially some security features. One of those cool features is administrator protection. With that, you solve the issue with older Windows versions. You had the issue that you had standing admin permissions for all the local users. And that was an issue for elevation. That the tokens were stolen or so. As you see with my shirt, that meant you were always Superman as soon as you were signed in with that account. And admin protection solves that in a nice way. So newly, you get a system-managed administrator account, which is only a temporary account. It gets created in that moment when you request elevated permissions. So that is an isolated account, really just in time created, until you have finished your task. And at that point, the token gets destroyed. So it makes it a lot harder for attackers to steal any tokens and strengthens your security a lot.
So that's quite cool because before, you had always these SIDs in your token.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a very cool feature, and I think helps us to as well solve or going towards zero trust as well.
Yeah.
So quite cool.
Absolutely.
What else has changed?
So another thing towards zero trust, as you mentioned, are the security baselines, which means the device hardening aspects. And of course, they also got updated as well for the newest version. They include all the necessary settings in the settings catalog to configure. Another nice setting that is available in settings catalog now is policy-based removal of pre-installed apps.
Correct, yeah. With that, that's also the issue. You know, you have a lot of software on the OS. Maybe a lot of them you don't require. So at that point, you need some solution to get rid of those. And you can do that with this new policy-based removal. You can just create a new settings catalog policy and add the applications you would like to remove. So that's a very easy way to do it. Less efforts, very great.
I think that was a problem since Windows 7 or so, where every vendor has included additional bloatware, games, and all this stuff. And now we no longer have to rely on scripts, which are cleaning up user profiles. We can just define a setting which uninstalls that. I think that's definitely cool.
Just be aware of the fact that if you choose one of those applications, then it's actually impossible to install them again. So if you choose Teams to be uninstalled by this policy-based removal, then it's not possible to install it again, even manually. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. So it's not just to clean up. You really need to be sure that you don't want to have this application. That's a good input. Yeah. What else has changed?
So there is also the support for Wi-Fi 7. Wi-Fi 7 has some more security features and also obviously is a little bit faster. So it's nice to see that support for this technology as well.
Another cool feature that was introduced is called Windows Backup for Organizations. You may wonder what it is exactly. So it's similar to enterprise data roaming, but this time it covers a lot of settings. So with that, you can almost back up and restore all the settings if you go to the settings app. So for instance, font size, all your passwords from Wi-Fi connections and so on. So you can basically the complete list back up and restore them. And The advantage of that is you get a nice experience if you get a new device or if you have to replace it or if you upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Hopefully you have done that already. But yeah, just in case, that gives you a better experience. From my point of view, that was also a missing piece until today because you always had that standard experience from Windows. It's already good. But yeah, now it's personalized and you can take over everything. So that's a good feature. Last but not least, we have also something in that area called quick machine recovery. Lucas, what can you tell us about this?
So yeah, if that cool backup feature doesn't work, or if you have any problem with the device that you set up, then there is a new feature called quick machine recovery. With that, the device itself is able to search for a possible fix if there is any kind of problem with it. It contacts Microsoft and applies a fix if a fix is already available or documented by Microsoft, and then it will be applied automatically to the device. That means if the user has some minor issue with the device and it cannot start, then it's most likely that the device can recover itself automatically.
I mean, that was added as a response to the big outage which we had a summer ago, I think, where a lot of companies had issues that their device can no longer boot because of a driver of a third-party application. So quick machine recovery is exactly there, that then Microsoft can create scripts or an automation which is applying then a recovery step so that all the devices will start booting up again. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it's a very, very handy and very nicely executed feature, very nicely implemented. So worth trying it out in your lab environment, and then after some testing, obviously in the production. Yes.
I think the enablement is even quite simple. It's a few settings you can set, and then it just works. You can test it, but in normal case, it shouldn't be a problem. Or have you experienced any problem with it?
No, so far I didn't experience any problem with it. It's actually just plug and play if you want. So if you configure those settings correctly, network settings, etc., then it should just work.
Yeah. Cool, good. So we have seen there are a lot of new features which are in Windows 25 H2. But now as well, what have we learned in projects about, or what experience did we had during rollout of Windows 11 25 H2?
So it was very cool, basically very seamless. So you don't have a lot of issues. The cool thing is, again, with, for instance, Microsoft Intune, you can create a feature update policy. And with that, all the update things are already prepared. So the installation of that is very short, the time. And yeah, something you can configure. Interesting is also you can define like optional as an optional update. So you do not require the users immediately to do it. You can give them like a grace period, inform them, hey, please do it until this deadline. You can choose to do it whenever you want. Otherwise, you are forced to do it.
What's very important about that point is that you should define a feature update policy to actually be able to granularly roll out the feature update. Otherwise, it will just be pushed to the devices at some stage. Yeah, and then there is also, as we already mentioned, the security baseline update. So that has to be planned as well, refining the policies, testing them with the user, and rolling them out. It's also a process that should be done within the update.
Yeah, at that point is the perfect time because as you already granularly roll out the new Windows edition, you can already use the same rings and ideas for the security baseline. So that's exactly the point, to do it together.
Yeah. Are there a lot of changes in the security baselines?
There are just minor changes that don't need as much testing as there was needed for the 24 H2. but we still recommend to test it within a group maybe of power users and then to roll it out to the company with this ring concept, as Yannick mentioned.
I think one important feature is the NTLM auditing, which is turned on automatically. You don't have to configure it in the settings, but that gives you visibility to understand your environment and helps you to plan getting away from it.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. Getting away from NTLM.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not that easy.
Not that simple, but yeah, would be the goal or should be the goal. Yeah. What else have you experienced?
So yeah, the last but not least, as we mentioned, the quick machine recovery, very nice feature that can help you a lot if it's configured. It's configured within 2 minutes. It's tested within half a day if you have the test devices ready, and then you have a really nice feature and a nice addition to the other processes that the Intune or the other services that Intune offers.
Yeah, maybe just a note also here in addition. So it sounds very easy at that point. You can just deploy it. We tested a little bit. I haven't experienced a lot of issues, but as usual, there are some third-party applications where an issue can appear. But yeah, with that deployment in rings, with a granular approach, you can really identify it early and solve your issues. But yeah, I think it's worth to say it's not just working, but it's almost everything is working fine. Yeah.
So, thank you that you have shared your experience, what you had during rollouts. And I hope you learned a lot about how you can do it and as well what you get if you update. And thank you for watching this episode and see you next time.